today we are going to hop into the world of online dating. So I'm joined by CEO and founder of dating app SMore, Adam Cohen-Aslatei. So Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today.
Of course, thanks so much for having me. I love the show.
So back when I was in the dating pool a few years ago in LA, I'm not going to tell you how long ago and date myself, reveal my age, but I'll admit it was not fun. Okay, so LA is super spread out as it is. I lived in Hollywood, and if you were dating someone in Santa Monica, it was basically like a long distance relationship. No fun. So explain to me the concept behind SMore and just kind of walk me through how it works.
SMore is the world's first anti-superficial relationship app. And what I mean by that is every single dating app that I've ever used, I've worked for the majority of large holding companies in the industry, and I've used so many of these apps. Every single app focuses on the way you look first and foremost. So we wanted to create an intentional based app where people are looking for real relationships and they're willing to suspend judgment on a photo to get something more. And by the way, SMore is short for something more. Something more is the #1 term that daters use when they give feedback on dating apps because they're looking for more than a surface level relationship. So we bring them the whole package. And what's cool about SMore, if you've ever seen the show Love is Blind, we're very similar to the show in the sense of you get to hear a person's voice on our app first. You also get to listen to their favorite music, and you interact with a profile that feels much more like MySpace than a dating app. So we're creating a sort of discovery environment where you're able to engage with someone on a really fun level and get to know them before the photos unblur. So it feels like you're on the show Love is Blind.
So, I mean, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but what about the current marketplace and the different dating apps that were out there made you feel like, okay, there's space for SMore and I really need to commit to doing this?
I met a woman on the beach in Cabo, and this is after spending 10 years working for other app developers and creating very large companies. She was an African-American woman, she was curvy, she was beautiful, and what she told me was shocking. She said, "Adam, you have ruined my life." I said, "What do you mean? You don't even know me."
That's not what you want to hear on your vacation in Cabo.
Definitely not. But she said to me that as a woman, she felt a pressure to put a version of herself out there that she knew was inauthentic because every other woman did the same thing, all to attract the attention of a man. The light bulb moment happened at that point. I was in a bathing suit on the beach, enjoying the sun, and I left. And I went upstairs to my room and I said, my God, there's probably millions of women and also men who feel the same way, that this has really become a beauty contest. The average person spends 30 milliseconds on a swipe. That's how much brain power they devote to deciding hot or not. And so that's where the concept came from. And so we wanted to delay the picture revealing. And so the more that you chat and engage with a person, the more their photos begin to unblur. And we also added a very interesting feature called blurred video dating. Because in COVID, video becomes the default way to communicate with someone. And what we found was that the conversation length actually increases about 24% because the beginning part of your conversation was blurry and people are getting into much more detailed conversations quicker.
Especially with tons of dating apps out there, and they become known in certain circles as, oh, this is the hookup app, or this is the one that, if you want a relationship, or this is the celebrity dating app and such. How did you think about building your brand and really differentiating it in that space that's already fairly crowded?
I believe that the way to differentiate a brand in this country, and probably in the world, but definitely in this country, is to build a lifestyle brand, a brand first company where the positioning is differentiated in and of itself. Our app says, you deserve something more. Are you ready for something more? And the connotation is being anti-superficial. So if we stand for anti-superficial, then everything we do must support that brand. And so we own that space. So the way that we think about it is really, how do we build products and features that really resonate with not judging someone just based on a headshot? But then it's all about creating content around your brand where people really just enjoy what you do. And it's not necessarily all about using the app, but it's about what's the fun content that resonates with people. And so we created the celebrity dating show. And it's a really good reflection of our brand because ultimately, people probably who have the most challenging times to date are celebrities. So what we started was a SMore Live Happy Hour. And this is a weekly show on Instagram where we have celebrities from Housewives, Below Deck. We've had Olivia Culpo on the show last week. And everyone's talking about their crazy dating stories. We're playing hilarious dating games, but we're also providing useful tips based upon the celebrity's experience dating, what not to do. Please learn from me. Don't make my mistake. We had Elise Slane on from the Real Housewives of New York City, and she was telling us about her craziest dating story in Central Park, where she was on a blind date with this guy, and his dog pooped in the park and didn't have anything to clean it up with. So I know you guys in LA may have never been to Central Park, but you have to clean up your dog's poop.
Yeah.
So he grabs a leaf and the poop seeps out of the leaf and he has nothing to wipe his hands with because he forgot to bring paper towel with him.
And we're actually going to show a quick clip here.
So he's walking
What?
with the poop,
Oh
with the
my God.
backpack, and he gives me the dog's leash. And now the dog is jumping on me and humping my leg. So, and I'm still thinking, all right, well, I have to figure out my way out. But I walk with him. He finds the garbage can. We find a tree. He lays out the blanket. He opens up the dirty backpack, and he pulls out this Tupperware of this like gray colored chicken and a salad. And he has paper plates, but he realizes that he didn't bring any utensils.
Oh my God.
So now,
What a mess.
scooping hand, he takes the chicken, like rips it apart because it's a whole chicken.
And it's like, we've all had these crazy dating stories and, they seem real. They seem crazy, but they seem real. And I think the authenticity of these stories and of SMore Live really resonates with the general public. And it's so much fun to do.
So, obviously we're in a weird time. We're all hoping that COVID goes away sooner rather than later. But, how do you see the online dating space evolving in the next couple of years? Has COVID permanently changed how singles are going to interact, or will you see a swing back, do you think?
So in short, no swing back. This is the new normal. And by the way, it's good. Because prior to COVID, especially millennials and Gen Zers, look, I'm a millennial myself, so I'm not pointing fingers, but we have tended to treat relationships as if they were disposable. When you can swipe on anyone, if you're on some of the LGBTQ apps, anyone will show up at your house, you'll have a fun night, but we don't treat people with any level of respect in general. And I think that now that we have COVID and the global pandemic, we're starting to reflect on the things that we don't have. And for 50% of millennials, they're completely single. So you might have a great job, you might have a great set of friends, but during COVID, you're home alone. And that's not a good feeling. And so I think it allows us to emerge from COVID with a different level of respect for people, for humanity, and for relationships, and treating people with a level of respect that they deserve. Everyone deserves common decency.